What is Bitcoin's 4-year cycle, and how can it allow you to walk away with your crypto wealth intact? Well, in case you didn't know, a Bitcoin halving occurs every 4 years. They call it the Bitcoin halving event, and it's when the rewards for mining Bitcoin is cut in half. Now, halvings reduce the rate at which new coins are created, and thus it is a lower amount in the new supply. But you may not know, you can navigate how to exit the crypto market based off this 4-year timeline. Now we're gonna look at Brett.eth's chart, and he's been in Bitcoin over a decade. Now Brett has 3 periods that he focuses on: the halving to the peak to the bottom, and the bottom to the halving. And he's gonna be looking at 2 cycles ago and then the last cycle. And we will look at the upcoming cycle, the cycle we're in right now. The next halving date is March 26, 2028. And we're gonna see how accurately the above timeline would put us at the halving. Now I zoomed in here. Now this is the 2017 bull run for Bitcoin, and you'll notice that the bull run from the halving, which are these blue lines right here, and we're gonna look at this on a chart as well, and then we're gonna look at altcoins, because there might be a way to navigate altcoins that could be even more impactful on your bottom line. But if you notice, after the halving, there's a very, very similar pattern starts to emerge. After the halving, 525 days later, Bitcoin found a peak. And then the next cycle, we had a halving in May of 2020. Bitcoin found another peak 532 days after the halving. So 525 to 532. And you can see we added exactly 1 week to the timeline. And then he has this upcoming timeline right here, 532 days. But what is that date? So I pulled up the halving right here, and this is the halving that we experienced in April of this year, and 532 days later. And if you look down there at the bottom, that gives us a date of October 4th, 2025. But we added a week, and so we might add a week again. And so based off this knowledge, I plan to start exiting my crypto positions based off the 4-year cycle. We're going to talk about altcoins in a little bit, but if you want to DCA in and DCA out of Bitcoin, you're probably not going to hate yourself if you sell a little bit in Q3, Q4, only to try to accumulate more a year later. But let's talk about that accumulation zone as well. So I said, you have a chance to accumulate more. Well, the next phase that he's looking at after the halving and the halving peak is the peak to the bottom. And so after the peak, Bitcoin then goes into what they call a bear market. And a bear market just means a prolonged drop in your investment prices. And so during this bear market, we also see another pattern start to emerge. This bear market lasted 364 days, and if you add exactly 1 week to that, you get 371 days. And then that gives us a little bit of a target right here of 364 days after the fact here. So what is the potential bottom for Bitcoin? And so if we add these 2 numbers, 532 plus 364, real quick, that's going to be 896 days later. And so if we measure 896 days, a TradingView won't give us a date past a little bit into April 2026. So if we go to a date calculator here, and so if we add 896 days to April 20th, 2024, that gives us October 3rd, 2026. Which lines up well with the 4-year cycle, because technically it's a little under 4 years. Bitcoin has the mining rewards cut in half, and it'll be a little under 4 years from the bear market bottom right here, which is November 22, and then we'll roll into October 26. And so in October 2026, that's when you should have the maximum amount of dry powder on the sidelines to put money into the crypto space. But now let's talk about the altcoins, because that might be the easiest way to change your life if you start buying at the very, very low periods here. The easiest way for you to get wrecked in crypto is to lose all your funds. Whether it's an exchange going down, an exploit, or just a hack, make sure you protect your crypto with Arculus Cold Storage. We love it here at the channel. And if you use code DC20, you can save yourself 20%. Protect yourself out there, because just last year alone, hackers stole almost $2 billion from users out there. Do not let it be you. Protect your funds. And not only can you protect, you can buy, swap, send, and receive crypto with a single tap and hold. Go get yourself an Arculus now. So here we have another breakdown, but now we're not just doing Bitcoin. Now we're adding Ethereum, Doge, and Bitcoin dominance. And so TechDev did really, really great analysis on where we're at today compared to 4 years ago. A really, really cool chart right here. So this dotted line right here, that's where we're at today. This dotted line right here, that's where we were 4 years ago within this 4-year cycle. Similar to this chart right here, we're still in the green phase. So we're looking at the green phase in this period right here. So going back to the post here, the top is Dogecoin. This right here is Bitcoin. This is Ethereum, and this is Bitcoin dominance. And so when we look at where we're at right now, sure, there's been a lot of movement. There's been a lot of explosive price action. But back here 4 years ago, there was a lot of movement. There was a lot of explosive price action. And sure, you maybe had a week or two, down period, maybe even a month. But if you would have sold right there, you were kicking yourself in the future. Terrible time to sell Doge, terrible time to sell Bitcoin, and a terrible time to sell your Ethereum. And so the most gains might come from your altcoin bags. But conversely, it's also more painful to the downside. If you don't sell at the peak and you just ride that token down, you are going to have a 90-95% drawdown versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin might only reverse 80, maybe even 75% this next cycle. And when he does the breakdown right here, in 21 is this yellow dotted line right there, Bitcoin, 4 weeks of price discovery. If you look at where we're at, 5 weeks of price discovery. Ethereum, 20% its all-time highs. And right now, Ethereum's still below 20% its all-time highs. Doge at its first pause. Doge right now at its first pause. And we're seeing Bitcoin dominance reverse. So if history tends to even come close to repeating or even whispers something that sounds like a rhyme, I expect right now to be a great time to hold onto your bags, buckle up, because it's going to be a little bit bumpy, folks, but we still have better days ahead. I'm DZ, and hopefully this helps you navigate this 4-year cycle. I want to hold on to my gains, and I want maximum gains for you as well. And so, folks, I'll see you at the top.